It's live. Keyan with my best friend here. He's in Austin. I'm in Nashville. Let's do this. How you feeling?
Let's do it. I'm pretty good. I'm really jealous you're in Nashville. I've never been, actually. Everyone tells me I should go.
How's life over there in Austin?
It's the same as when you left it, really.
How much do you miss me?
300%.
Dang, really? I miss you a whole bunch, dude. I miss you so much. I'm like, where's Keyan when I need him? That's what I feel like right now. I'm lost. Like a lost puppy. A little puppy.
Yeah, we are. We're codependent.
How was your week?
It was good. Yeah. Announced my fundraise, which we'll get into in a second, and then just been trying to get back into like adding features and improving stuff. That's about it. It looks like you guys are having a lot of fun in Nashville. I just saw that they posted that rip a second ago.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Seeing a lot of our friends here. Everybody's asking about you. But yeah, it's a lot of fun, man.
Oh.
Good times. Good times. Yeah.
I'll have to get up there at some point.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's get into the top stories.
Yeah, let's get into the top 5 stories of the week on Stacker News Live.
Yeah, so we have a little bit of meta mixed in. We'll see if we can get through it faster. But basically, I raised a seed round. Yay. If you were curious about the pitch deck or terms or anything, it's in there.
That was really cool you did that. You put the pitch deck in there. That's really good of you to do that. Very transparent. I love it.
I did it for my pre-seed, and people seem to like it. It seemed to encourage a lot of other founders to go out and raise money and think more seriously about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, why not do it again? And I know there's like, I remember like recently on Twitter, like Samson Mao's pitch deck was like revealed, and he was like upset about it. Like, hey, I sent this to you confidentially. Why'd you reveal this? And I'm like, why is it confidential at all? Like on some level, that's like my response is like a person who might use some product that someone develops. Like, shouldn't I know what your plans are with this thing I'm committing my life to on some level?
That's what I like about what we do at Plug Lab. You and Super are very big proponents of that transparency thing that I really love, and I've leaned into it a lot more since I've known you guys. So I think it's cool. I think you're right. This is how you get more devs.
Yeah, you just got to be honest, and yeah, it helps to be super transparent, so people see there's no like black box machinery going on in building a startup. It's fairly easy. You make a pitch deck, you present it to rich people, they give you money, and you build and you build and you build, and you talk to your users. That's pretty much the whole gamut. But anyway, that's there. If anyone's curious about that, they can go check that out. The other meta story was we added an onion address. So if you want to browse Stacker News more privately, you can use that onion address. There's in the comments I have some caveats that you should be aware of, but yeah, it's basically like assets like JavaScript and CSS and images and stuff are still not loaded over Tor or not routed over Tor end to end. And then I haven't really done much testing on logged in behaviors, but as far as browsing, you can browse Stacker News much more privately than before. A lot of people asked for it, so I did that. But that's pretty much the end to our meta stuff.
I should note real quick too is Keyan does a Stacker News newsletter every Saturday. So if there's anything that you missed here in the top stories or anything that's going on meta-wise for Stacker News, check out that on Stacker News.
Yeah, when if you log into Stacker News with an email address, you're automatically subscribed. But if you log into Stacker News without an email address, you can go into your settings and subscribe to the newsletter.
Or what you can do is go to thrillerbitcoin.com, and then I do a whole write-up on Saturday as well too, and we put the podcast and the video and all that stuff in there, so you can sign up there. It's free. Yeah.
on. So top non-meta story is Gloria Zhao. I believe that's how you pronounce that. Is now a Bitcoin Core maintainer.
What did you think about that?
I mean, I really liked it. My first chain code seminar, the Lightning seminar that I did, Gloria was like the first person I had a little like huddle session with in that seminar. So she was like the first person I talked to. Found her very pleasant and nice and smart in that conversation. And then she said she had mentioned she was working on mempool policy in Core with Brink, and it's really cool to see her go from there, where she's taking these seminars, to boom, Bitcoin Core maintainer. It is. If you go into the actual PR where they add her public key, there's quite a bit of back and forth. Some people are like not super thrilled about
Why is that, Keyan?
I mean, there's a variety of reasons, but like some of the more common ones that you find in the comments or find in the replies are, three of the developers are funded by Brink, out of the 7 maintainers. Other people say she has, she's actively contributing to Core on mempool policy, and there is some concern that she'll self-merge PRs. So basically, this ability gives you the right to merge code into Bitcoin Core. That's kind of what the significance of this event is. And so there's some fear that she will abuse it, I guess, because she or have a strong bias toward her own opinions with regard, and not observe the communities very much. I mean, these are complaints you could make of nearly anyone.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering. Is this more of a? This is gonna be a spicy question for you. You don't have to answer it. Do you think it's because she's a woman? That's why they're questioning this, or that has nothing to do with it?
I don't think the people are questioning it because she's a woman. I think they question all the questions that I've heard brought up are questions that I think someone would bring up regardless. I mean, I think if you have something like a Peter Woolley or something, maybe there'd be fewer questions, but that's more a matter of like domain expertise and history perhaps than gender. She is the first Bitcoin Core maintainer to be female, which is cool, but kind of not super relevant to like the task at hand, but really interesting.
I guess the other question I have is like if you round out those devs that have the keys, right? Do they all fill a certain like gap in different areas?
Focuses.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, some of them have focuses, but I think they're all like their role is to like when it seems like there's community support for something to merge it in.
Okay.
That's kind of what the maintainer role is for. They are like they're basically a gatekeeper in a way to like actually getting things changed in Bitcoin Core. And some of them do have focuses, like Andrew Chow focuses on, I believe, on the GUI and the wallet, like fairly specifically. And so you can make some of similar complaints about Andrew Chow being a maintainer, in that he has a little bit of a high focus. But it's an interesting discussion. I highly recommend checking out the PR, just to see how people think about these kinds of things, because it's fairly complicated. You're giving someone power, and any time that happens, there's going to be a bunch of trade-offs, and they're kind of all well considered in the comment thread, which is nice to see. Which is what you want. You want.
Is this how it always worked, though? Is this how it's always worked?
I don't think so. I mean, I know probably less about Bitcoin history than I maybe should, But I think as time goes on, it will get more and more contentious. Just like, probably electing George Washington wasn't that big of a decision when it happened because he was just the first president. But I think when now we get to presidents, and there's a whole country that gets kind of insane around election time. And I think so I think we can expect progressively more concern as we add maintainers to Bitcoin Core.
Wow. Sounds like very similar things that's going on in the real world right now too, about a group of people. Nice parallel.
Yeah, dude. Fractals everywhere. So that's the first top story. The second top story is this Lightning Network paper by the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland. I read it today. It's a pretty good paper. Like, I read it in full today. I'd read parts of it before. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. They don't it seems like based on a few things, it seems like they don't fully get it. But they did go pretty deep. What they were trying to investigate was, has the Lightning Network successfully reduced demand for block space? And they conclude that yes, indeed it has. They consider also SegWit adoption and the Lightning Network, and confirm that the Lightning Network has actually successfully reduced demand on block space, which is what its kind of intended effect is, which is great to have confirmation from a group that might be otherwise biased against Bitcoin. And then additionally, they try to consider whether the topology of the Lightning Network, meaning whether it's decentralized or centralized, has an impact on demand for block space. And they conclude that it seems like even if you have a more centralized Lightning Network, it doesn't seem to make much of a difference in terms of demand for block space, which you'd think that, because what their hypothesis was basically is that if the Lightning Network is quite decentralized, you might have a lot more channel opens and channel closes on chain as people try to connect to other people in the network. But what the results showed, and there might be flaws in their methodology or whatever, but what those results showed is that it doesn't seem to make much of a difference in terms of block space demand, whether Lightning Network trends towards centralization or decentralization. And that was kind of like a sub-finding, but something they tried to tease out in the paper.
Yeah, a lot of heavy news to start the show.
Yeah.
I pulled out a cigarette because I'm like, man, this is some heavy stuff. It's so great that you can explain this all.
Yeah. I mean, I do prep for these, so I do try to make sure I'm not misinforming people. But yeah. I think I would be super far behind if it weren't for all the chain code stuff that I've learned and all the great work that I've read of other people and stuff. Because I'm not really a seasoned Bitcoiner, as you know. I'm only a few years into this relative to the Odell.
You're a young Bitcoiner.
Young Bitcoiner. All right, so next top story is Evan Kaloudis.
Boss.
His AMA. I prefer to call him the father of Zeus, so that he's the grandfather.
I met him this week. Oh my god, dude.
Oh, yeah.
The guy's electric. He's electric, man.
Electric? What does that mean?
Now I understand why Zeus is great. Until you meet the person, there's certain, you could see a lot of, and I don't know, I haven't talked to him about this, but you could see a lot of him in his project. It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him in calls before, in Lightning roundtables with Lightning Labs before, and on podcasts, obviously. And he seems to just be he seems like a really cool guy, just based on
Really
based on that
smart.
little.
Really smart too.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. It was a really good AMA.
Yeah, it was.
He asked, how do you balance enthusiasts versus like normal users? And he goes on, we have a bunch of work to do in here. I think most people would agree Zeus is more for an enthusiast than it is a normal person right now. But I think he's kind of reveals, as you read through this AMA, that they have plans to release another app that's maybe better suited towards normal users, which is pretty cool. And they're going to release and they're actually going to try to make somewhat of a business out of their this additional Lightning wallet that they're going to come out with by having a Lightning service provider as like a feature of it.
I was telling him a couple days ago, I was like, man, I use it for all the podcasting 2.0 stuff because I just see it just like running down. Like whenever I want to pick me up during the day, I just like look at it and it's like perfect for that because it's all the sats coming in. It just shows it. It's pretty flawless, man. Have a new appreciation for it, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's my favorite Lightning wallet. It's what I use primarily if I'm, especially if I'm not like having trouble connecting over Tor or I have an issue with liquidity on my home node or anything. It'll be what I use.
Yeah, we also got into a full-on like wallet discussion. So it's good to see those wallet discussions happen everywhere, even in Nashville. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm so sad I'm missing some of that. So Kevin Rooke asked him, what are some books that have meaningfully changed your worldview? He says, Rothbard's Anatomy of the State, which is like a staple. The Fourth Turning, is a fan of The Fourth Turning, which I haven't read yet, but I really want to. He asks, other people ask, what are the key advantages of Zeus over other setups? And it's kind of an odd question because Ride the Lightning, and he asks what are the advantages of Zeus over Ride the Lightning? And Evan responds, Ride the Lightning is more for desktop. Obviously, you're not going to be using Ride the Lightning on mobile, but a really good AMA. I was surprised to learn that Evan is planning to launch another wallet geared more towards normal people that has an LSP and might be looking to establish a business. And that was really surprising to me. Yeah, cool. So we'll move on. Here's Zeus's landing page. The next two top posts are actually from Kevin Rooke. He's been posting some like original content. He does like these really good like high-level breakdowns that I think people like to see a lot. Like
yeah, he should write more. Yeah.
He'll do really good things on stats, like this is how much this is growing, or he'll do really good lists of things, like which people just tend to like more because it's fairly concise. Yeah. Anyway, he posted about login with Lightning, and so they found 4 apps that support it: Stacker News, LN Markets, and Collider, and Zaprite, and then all of the wallets that support it, which are, which is a growing number. Zeus among them, but Blue Wallet more recently, obviously Albi, a number of them, and that was a top story.
Cool.
Yeah, someone comments later in here, and he comments that LNCal, which I think might be his own product. He says that LNCal also has Lightning login. I'm not aware of many others that do. Many other products that do it. Zaprite, which we already mentioned. Yeah, so I'm surprised. I mean, users really seem to like Lightning login, and very few apps actually support it. Any thoughts on Lightning login, Car?
I'm indifferent. Nothing I want to say publicly yet.
Okay. Have you used it yet?
Yeah.
You prefer Nick Carter's wallet company, don't you?
Yeah, dynamic. I'm full on dynamic fan. Yeah.
Yeah, I could tell. Just kidding.
I know.
Cool. All right. The next top story is exchanges on Lightning.
Yeah, that was cool. That was the one I really loved.
Yeah. So it's cool to see. I mean, again, he does these breakdowns really well. He says he's been tracking public capacity of exchange nodes and had noticed interesting trends. For one, River's nodes have gained 72 Bitcoin of capacity in the last month, which is crazy. South Exchange, which I'm not, I guess it's an exchange in Argentina, has been adding quite a bit of capacity, adding 7 Bitcoin recently. Fixed Float is another, adding 24%. And Bitfinex has a huge node. I didn't realize this, but they have 786 Bitcoin on their node. Again, by comparison, Stacker News' node has, I think, 1 Bitcoin of capacity.
Oh wow! Look at you.
I know. I got a whole one on there. But pretty cool if you like looking at this kind of stuff. Some of them are going down. Like OKCoin reduced their capacity by 14 Bitcoin. But most of them are going up. And that's, I think, if you look at the growing capacity on the Lightning Network as a whole, it makes it there's an obvious trend line upward, and quite exponential actually.
Right.
But I recall earlier this week there was an interesting discussion that some of us were having about that we might expect Lightning capacity to stop growing at some point because like the technology gets so good, we use capital more efficiently on the Lightning Network. And I thought that was interesting because, maybe you don't actually need that much Bitcoin on the Lightning Network to do quite a few payments, and that, maybe that's true. I don't really know. I expect more and more Bitcoin to migrate to Lightning just because eventually the UX will be superior to Bitcoin itself. But maybe that's true too. Maybe at some point the technology around the Lightning Network gets so efficient, so reliable that you don't really need
What's up, Price?
all of the Bitcoin to migrate to Lightning.
We got a Ben Price spotty in here.
Oh,
we're doing Stacker News live.
Hello, look
Say
at
hi.
that, the Bitcoin
Say
company,
hi.
the man.
Am I on here?
The Ben
Yeah,
Price
you're out
company.
there. Yeah, I've been hanging.
Bitcoin company.
I've been hanging out with the
Visa
Bens.
gift cards.
I was hanging out with the Bens.
You guys are competing with Citadel.
No, this is the time that we always do it. Yeah.
Citadel's competing with you.
No, there's no competition.
Yeah, no, we just pay homage to Citadel, if anything.
Yeah. You need a lighter? Oh, you got one. Cool.
Okay, cool. So those are the exchanges on Lightning. My top story of the week is LNCal.
Really? It's that one?
Yeah, I thought it was a cool app. It's very infrequent actually. Surprisingly, that we see new Lightning apps get released. That are like quite well designed and thought out. And
no, it's beautiful. I think it's beautiful. It'd be cool to see it on Umbro. Yeah.
I see. You don't like that it's hosted.
Well, I think the thing, and I only took like maybe 5 minutes to look at it, but the thing that alarmed me was like it was going to be connected to my Gmail and all that kind of stuff. So, but I don't know. I had to ask Tony about all that privacy stuff.
Yeah, I haven't personally used it yet, but it seems pretty good. I guess you need to provide an email. I don't know what happens when you actually sign up. I'm not really interested in selling my time anytime soon, but yeah, I think there's really not much good reason that it needs to be centralized, other than I guess if you want faster updates to it.
I think it works for some people. I think it works for some people. Just I'm not one of them, unfortunately.
Let me see.
Have you been using it? Or are you going to use it?
I'm not really interested in selling my time. I try to give it to Stacker News users for free, and then I usually reply to DMs.
Okay.
But I don't want to talk. I don't want to like have a sit down conversation with someone for like $100 or something. I don't. It's like
yeah. I think for me, if they show up at Pleb Lab, I'll definitely talk to them or meet up or something.
Right. If you like know them or you're like otherwise like looking to network.
Or yeah, even if you don't know them, it's still good to know. You know.
I heard there's something going on. Yeah, it's like
It's Woozling. There's another Ben sighting.
All right, another Ben. Right on. All right, well, that's my top story. Your top story is Zaprite is phenomenal.
Yeah. So he's doing a talk. Yeah, he's doing a talk right now, but he implemented Stripe into that platform, and it's working pretty good. Pretty good. But yeah, I wrote that earlier this week. If you kind of scroll through it, you can kind of see all the flow that he's built into Zaprite. Dude, to this day, that's probably one that I use the most besides Stacker News and Bitcoin Company and Oshi, Zaprite. Yeah.
You gave all the shout outs to your friends there. Yeah, that's
it's the truth.
Cool.
Like, I'd rather use my friends' stuff, you know, but yeah.
Absolutely. Who do you, what connector what payment plugin do you use to do your invoices?
I show it in there. If you go to the video, it's all in there. Definitely, yeah, check it out. It's a full write-up on everything. So.
Oh, okay. So we have to watch the video to figure out what your payment.
Yeah, you gotta leave some stackers a little bit of go check it out.
All right, guys, we'll never find out. But okay, so he's using Stripe here. You have a Stripe account?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What's wrong with Stripe?
Professional. I mean, it's super. It's like by definition.
Some people want to pay with credit cards. You know, you got to let them pay with credit cards. That's why like the Bitcoin company is doing that too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Got to let the fiat people in. Cool, man. So those are the top stories of the week. Congratulations. Do we want to read our boost before we get into like?
Yeah. Let's read the boost. So we got a lot of boosts this week. We got a lot of supporters: Bobby, Nick, Z, Jason, Mesky. There's just so many to read. See you later, Ben. One is from he's turning out to be our biggest booster, Blockchain Boog. He just comes in every week. He said, "Don't forget, fellas, Sphinx Chat was also one of the first apps that opened up the value for value pods. You want to make sure to get that in there."
Oh yeah, they've been super early the whole time.
Yeah, that was from last week's episode.
Blockchain Boog, I believe, is also the person who sent me sats to get the Tor.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, the onion address on Stacker News. So.
Cool.
That was them. Is that all our boosts?
That's all our boosts. Let's get into the Stacker metrics. Oh no, the Stacker job boards.
Oh no, we'll do top stackers first. So since last week, I've implemented a new reward algorithm, and so what's kind of interesting is there are at least among the top 21 users, people are stacking a lot more. So for instance, in the top 21 users, everyone earned over 6,000 sats last week on Stacker News, which is kind of a big deal. And these are names I personally I recognize quite well because I know them to be quite active.
Right.
So that's kind of a good sign. But even if you go further, you go to the top 42. Look, there you are. You earned over 2,000 sats. 2,000 sats in the last week.
I've been jumping a lot of sats in there this week.
Yeah, so pretty cool, but KR posted again two of the top stories of the week, so we earned a lot. Obviously, Evans AMA, Moon, Now, but yeah, Harsh I think is a newer user, Spartan as well. But pretty cool to see. Stats breakdown here. I don't know how well we can I can't see what the users, viewers can see, but a lot of tips this week, obviously, because Blockchain Book sent me that 500,000 sats.
You said there was you said there was somebody that was complaining about the change earlier this week, or no?
Yeah, there's been like 2 or 3 users. Well, one user who complained a lot, and they've stopped getting rewards, and but they also don't participate very much. They have like one word comments, and don't post really much content, don't really upvote much. It just that's I think all of us who are consuming the news on Stacker News and consuming the discussions would prefer that all the sats that Stacker News sends out go to those users who are participating a lot, and not to users who maybe aren't.
I have a spicy question for you.
Yeah.
Do you think it's possible where people or media companies will reach out to those individuals to post, or is that not something that would happen?
I don't know why.
So let's say hypothetically I wanted to get up there on the ranking as far as like a Thriller Bitcoin article or something. Could I then go to one of those top 5 people and say, hey, could you post this? Would that incentivize them to do it, or you think it's kind of a spicy question, but
top 5 people? You mean
of the previous
top
week?
5?
Of the previous week.
Oh, no. So it wouldn't matter at all, really, if they posted it, because the only way you get ranked higher is if users upvote it.
So you would still need that upvote effect.
Yeah, it's not simply like if I post a story, it doesn't have any advantage over you posting a story.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it just matters if other users like it. The idea is like that it's kind of like a democracy. But there is like this trust aspect where you have to kind of have good behavior over a long enough period of time, according to the algorithm that I use, for you to have any influence at all over the ranking algorithm.
And that's all on the get, or no?
That's all on the get.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. And then jobs. So staff work, back at the top again. Earn sats by listening to Bitcoin podcast, Plebeian Technology, Bitrefill, still hiring for a bunch of roles on Stacker News. So regardless of where you are in the stack as a developer, Bitrefill is hiring, and they can either be in Sweden or remote. Still earn sats by watching Austrian economics podcasts for snack work. And you can still apply to my senior example job on Stacker News. We still haven't found a great candidate yet. People have too much personality. We're really looking for someone who is quite bland and really normal, and we haven't found that person just yet, but I'm hoping someone will be a great example candidate soon.
Yeah, it's here at Bitcoin Park, they're doing this whole building on Bitcoin like thing right now, and there's a lot of people in there like learning about like Zaprite, Oshi, Voltage, and Mempool. So yeah, I think hopefully we'll start seeing more devs enter into the space. I think that's good.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Also, another thing I noticed, the Pomp's jobs aren't on there anymore. He was on there for a little bit.
Perhaps they ran out of sats. We can kind of tell if it's expired. Then yeah, so they just never came back.
We need those sats. We need those sats. Pomp, send them back to Stacker News.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I should implement something where someone could put like an email address in, and I like notify them when it runs out of sats, and we'll come back and reload it.
Yeah, reload us, Pomp.
Well, that's it, Car.
That's it. That's all you got.
That's all I've got. I hope you have lots of fun in Nashville and meet some nice ladies on out there for a bachelorette party or something.
Whoa. I was gonna ask you, how's that Airbnb going over there?
Oh my God, it's the last weekend was awful. It was just they were up until like 5 or 7 a.m. in the morning. But I'm working on it. I'm gonna figure out a way to possibly, I don't know, get the hosts to be a little more clear with their guests about how they should behave.
Yeah, are you investigating like who's the owner? Or so I saw on Twitter you were posting like you're like doing this whole like serial investigation.
Well, there were a bunch of coked up frat boys this past
Oh,
week
wow.
who were up until like 5 or 7 a.m. in the morning, outside, you know, hooting and hollering, and I ended up I called Airbnb, I called the cops.
Whoa, you did?
Airbnb, yeah. I don't know what else to do. I tell the host they don't do anything. I tell Airbnb they don't do anything. I have no other backstop. Like, this is it. It's like either I have to call the cops or I'm just gonna not be able to sleep. So,
Party B&B next to Keyan, it looks. You might just
anyway,
have to. You might just have to start renting it out yourself and then just have 2 homes.
It's $1,000 a night.
Oh no! Wow.
So I learned a lot about. So when Airbnb got back to me, they're like, "Hey, the host name you gave us isn't the right host name. Here's the link to like the address you gave us." And I go and follow the link, and it's like, "Holy crap! The host of this Airbnb that I thought I was talking to this whole time is not the actual host. It's someone else." And I'm just talking to like a property manager or something who's pretending to be my neighbor, so that I guess like it deflects from the actual host, whatever whale holds like 16 Airbnb properties. I don't know.
Yeah, they have that pool. That's what gets people in. Pools at Airbnbs.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely attracts a certain party crowd.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the pool is 10 feet away from my bedroom window, so. Especially for that show.
Fortunately, the pool is 10 feet away from my. Got a show title.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, hope you have a great week. I'll be back on Saturday, and then we'll link up sometime Monday, I'm sure.
Let's link up.
All right. We'll see you next time,
Zap.
Stackers. There you go.